gameranx presents Before You Buy, the show where we give you some unfiltered, unedited footage of some new games to help you make some decisions as to whether or not you're going to play them. Today on the show, we're going to be doing UFC 2. And the first thing I want to say right off is that UFC 2 is better than UFC 1. It just overall feels tighter, controls are a little bit better, although I'm going to have to go ahead and say not a lot. Because if you've played UFC 1 and have maybe gotten good at the game, the controls are probably going to feel familiar, but somebody who is light on the UFC 1 and just trying out UFC 2 still feel kind of convoluted. And I can tell that the game is trying fairly hard not to be an arcade game. It's trying to be very serious. It wants me to take my time with the game seriously, and it wanted me to learn how to play the game. It's not just a pick up and play game, that's for certain. Am I saying that for people who haven't played the first game it's going to be bad? No. One of the biggest complaints a lot of people had of the first game was that it wasn't sure whether it wanted to be an arcade game or a simulation game, and I think that they've refined it to the point where they really clearly want it to be a simulation game. But I am gonna say this, if you're entirely new to the UFC series, or really the EA sports fighting games, this game's probably going to frustrate you, in part because the controls did not feel intuitive. And that might just be me. I don't know if you had different experience with it. I'd really like to hear about it in the comments, but I was very frustrated with the controls of this game. And that's coming from somebody who thinks that the controls are better than the first UFC game. So, I mean, it makes it really hard for me to say, yeah, I'm all in on this, because I'm not. There's a decent amount of modes to play in. I liked the character creator, and the main mode I would be playing is career, but career is kind of weird. It doesn't really have an astoundingly large amount of content in it. And on top of that, it kind of has these weird activities for you to do that are not fighting. And I get it, you want me to learn how to play the game, and you want to provide supposedly fun and interesting ways for me to do that, but if I buy a UFC game, the thing I want to do is play UFC matches. I feel like it wouldn't be that hard for them to set up some way for you to learn the controls a little bit better that feels more like you're actually playing the game, like the main game, or even require you to go through a little bit more lengthy of a tutorial, because the tutorial really doesn't teach you very much. It just tells you, okay, this is how you do one thing, this is how you do another thing, and it really gives you the bare basics of it. And the problem is that the bare basics are more complicated than they need to be. And you might think that you have the basics, but then you play a match, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not really sure what I'm doing actually. I feel like I should be doing good, but I'm not. And then if you play an online match, it's like, why am I even doing this? It's not new people that you're fighting against online. Or at least that's my experience when trying to do the online mode. There doesn't really seem to be much of a ramp up. I just immediately got somebody who was significantly better than me and thrashed me. And that keeps happening. And keep in mind, I just had this game for a day. This person's probably been playing UFC 1 for a very long time, spent some time adjusting to the better controls of UFC 2, and they have an advantage. And I'm sure that there's quite a few players playing online that are doing just that. In fact, I would say the majority of people who actually give a shit to play online are probably in that category. Because I'll be honest, I didn't really feel like playing online after playing the career mode for a while. And the other thing is, I don't really know how to explain it, but there's this kind of lifeless feel. I want to say it's the uncanny valley, but I also don't want to say it because technically the graphics are really, really good, and I'm actually very impressed with the graphics. But for some reason, everything just feels dead. The fighters' faces always seem to have like a dead look on them, and not in like a intense, I can't think of anything else kind of way, in a I'm in a casket and I'm decomposing kind of way. There's no life in my body, how are we having this fight? Now, if I'm gonna talk about the positives of the game, I'd have to say it is a pretty smooth game. There were times where I wasn't frustrated with the controls and felt like, wow, I'm really in control. But the problem is, unless you're completely used to it and don't play any other fighting games of any kind, because they will interfere with the control scheme here, you'll probably end up finding them frustrating and or inconsistent. The two UFC games kind of exist almost within their own genre, because I don't really think I've ever played a game that plays exactly like them. And that's kind of good and kind of bad. It's good because it's always good to see a unique game, but it's bad because I think there might be a reason why people don't make games like this. I'm starting to wonder if UFC fighting, while really cool to watch in real life, isn't really something that translates well to games, because in my opinion, these two games, both of them, UFC 1 and 2, just haven't hit. And I've seen a lot of reviews saying that this corrects all of the problems of UFC 1 and creates a game that's much, much better, and I just don't know if I can get behind that, because yes, it did fix a lot of problems from the first UFC game, but I'm not having that much fun with it, to be completely 100% honest with you. And there's a difference between challenging and frustrating. I like a challenge. I don't like games where they just seem like they haven't gotten a grasp of what they want to be. And yes, this game has grasped that it wants to be a fighting simulator now, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that they basically have to define what that type of game is. And it might be the limitations with a controller itself. You might need some other different input method. I don't know, but it just isn't there for me. I liked maybe the third match I played. I didn't like the first few, and I chalked it up to inexperience with this particular title, but it's such a hurdle. I don't think they're going to get any new people into this franchise, and that's kind of the point, isn't it? To make something that's worth buying every year for updated rosters and control changes? Because I would call it an average game. If I really wanted to get into an average game, maybe I could get better at it and love it much more. But would that really be because I enjoyed the game itself, or would it be because I invested a bunch of time into it to get good and now I'm good? I feel like it would be the latter and not the former. And that's not good, considering I've had the game for a day and I've played it enough that I should know if I like it or not, and I don't really like it. It's not bad. Like I said, I think it's a fairly average game, and if EA wants me in on a new franchise, they're gonna need to do more than an average game. I don't know, maybe I'll play it for a while longer and I'll see the light and figure out exactly what it is I'm missing, but I kinda don't feel like I'm missing anything. Has anybody else gotten this game? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I see other reviews for it. Can anybody else back me up, or am I? I'd really like to have that discussion in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, and if you're not subscribed to our channel, now's a good time to do so. We upload brand new videos every single day of the week. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video, and we will see you next time right here on gameranx.